Hey, what's up? It's Brett, your favorite YouTuber, or so I think. And yeah, I've been really in a social mood, I think, because I spent hours today giving out fortune papers to random people that I met just by walking up to them and saying, "Would you like to have like a wisdom paper? Would you like a wisdom paper?" And I printed off several hundred of them. And yeah, I gave them to all kinds of people, not just women that I was interested in. But, I mean, it's fun. I've done it before and I'll do it again because I get bored. And um people do the same things over all the time. I want to do other new and interesting things. I want to decorate the fortune papers. I could give out all kinds of other things. Um, I'm still kind of not really into making videos about it all. I'm just kind of wanting to get my social life going. And that's not easy. And it's forcing me to soften up, which is the title of this video. And I've come to realize that my ability to be so disciplined with things coincides perfectly with my astrology birth chart. And everyone is different. And so, for me to expect other people to be as disciplined as me it's far-fetched. And I don't really. I don't. I just want to see some sort of change. You get that, right? You know that I'm not that like crazy demanding of people, especially just average general people. I live I live in a nice town in the mountains. The people are nice generally. Not all of them, but pretty much nice. And that's why I moved here, because I thought to myself, if people are like the Andy Griffith show in North Carolina, that's where I want to live, because people are real, you know? Real. And I was kind of, what's the word for it? Disgruntled about it for a while regarding Donald Trump and all that, and everybody jumping on his bandwagon. But that's getting better for obvious reasons, and people are starting to see their reality. It's not just people on the right that are seeing the reality. Anybody that's materialistic and greedy is comparing themselves. You know the deal. People compare themselves to all kinds of everything because we're all one, you see. And if we weren't all a big family, the human family, and it includes animals as well, because the animals think and feel too. And people compare the animals too to them. You'll see in titles, video titles, on your favorite animal channel on YouTube, you will see how they're saying, "Oh, the animal cried," or whatever, It did something like a human, and it makes you feel akin. And so I wanted to feel in like that way, to be part of a community that was more real. And one way that I'm getting softer is I won't just compare that to another community that I think is not real. That's just an example, And eventually I'll get to this place where I won't even mention that. I'll just stay positive all the time. Imagine that. Imagine me being positive all the time. Well, it is a definite, in fact, it is a for sure. Well, it's not a for sure. It's a strong likelihood. It's a strong likelihood that quiet. It's a strong likelihood that the longer I go on, the longer I keep cleansing and healing my body, the more that I'm going to stay that way all the time. Because I'm telling you, I just got through another migraine. And it was cool. I hadn't actually had one for 6 weeks prior. It says that I'm live. And so, anyways, is anybody out there? There's one. Nobody was watching, and I was wondering, I was like, Anyways, I think that I just keep getting cleaner. And the more that I do that, the more level-headed and bodied I'll be. And so, yeah, let's cheers. Let's cheers to that. Today I was in Asheville, and I pulled over for a little bit. I walked down the street a little bit, and I noticed that it was extremely slow for a Saturday in the middle of summer. And this is just really indicative of how it is right now in the country. And I was really blessed last weekend to start getting a bunch of orders in. And that was really encouraging. And I just thank God. I know that a lot of people will do that. They'll score a touchdown or hit a home run or something good will happen in their lives. And they'll be like, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. But really, whenever I'm feeling good, that's largely how it is. That's largely how it is. Good things will just start coming into my life. But I was getting a little bit disappointed there. Like, at least 2 people are watching me. Is it are you guys one of my regular viewers that comment in the chat box? Anyways. So yeah, I met a few cute girls today, and I went to a really fun. I kind of made it fun for me and lots of people by giving out the fortune papers today at a coffee shop. I'm walking around, not my nice colored ones. I get to keep those, but yeah. And if you want one, I will give you one. Okay. So there's 2 of you watching me right now. And whoever you are, I'm going to pick 2 fortune papers for you. Even if you're one of the people that hate me, right? I'm in such a decent mood now that I'm picking fortune papers for you. You ready? Here's for the first person that was watching me all by themselves. Good, huh? Yeah, exactly. Okay. There's 3 people watching now, so I'm going to pick 3 of them for you. Ready for this? That's for the second person. That's a good one too. They're all really good. And guess what? I wrote some new ones the other day. The third person. Are you ready? Don't go anywhere. You're going to get your fortune right now. Did you get that? That's for the third person that joined. And now, oh, the fourth one just left. Well, I'm going to keep these right here. Hey, Happy. Hey, Cheryl Ann. Cheryl Ann. I told you that my grandma was Phyllis Ann, right? I like Cheryl. Cheryl is such a sexy name. I can just see this hot blonde Cheryl at the beach in Daytona. You know what I mean? Just walking down the beach, because I used to live there right on Atlantic Boulevard at the youth hostel in 1984. And yeah, in fact, I would say that's where I had my first really great sex. Yeah. We were like rabbits for weeks. It was really good. My little French girl. So anyways, I'm having some coffee. I am wholesome. But that doesn't mean that I can't still crack jokes. Like, for instance, if Michael Jackson comes on here, you know what I'm going to do, right? We have to do a Michael Jackson laugh. Speaking of Daytona Beach, a little while ago, I watched a video of Bryan Adams and Pat Benatar singing a duet together. What did they sing? They sang a what's his name song, Stevie Wonder song. Can't remember which one it was. Anyways, I saw Pat Benatar on the beach in Daytona in the early to mid 80s. And, you know, it was an MTV thing. Remember? MTV. And they were hosting all of these various things around, especially on the beach and Daytona Beach and spring break, etc. But yeah, I feel more wholesome nowadays. And I really got along with people nicely today. And I think that that's because I didn't tell them about myself. It's good to talk about them. Ask them about what they do if you don't want to get into a controversy and you're a natural health person like me. Or I could just say that, oh, it's not really a big deal. I don't really care if people eat healthy food and live naturally. I saw Pat Benatar in Rhode Island. Hmm. I have a very good friend in Rhode Island that loves parrots. I wonder if she's watching right now. That's kind of the weird thing about being a YouTuber and telling what you think about everything honestly and truthfully. You never know who's watching. My mom could be watching right now. My brother could be watching right now. I haven't spoken to them for over a decade. Anybody could be watching right now. Friends that I'm no longer really friends with. I usually like to ask about others too because it gets me out of my own head. Yeah, that's something that they say to do in AA, to get out of your own head. Well, since I'm such a practicer of yin and yang and balance, qi, you'd think that I'd want to be at least 50% into other people's heads and as well as 50% into my own, right? When you're caught up in your own healing, well, that's what you're caught up into, yourself. So if I've seemed that way, well, now you know. And if you seem that way while you're doing your own healing, well, now you know. And you can just try to be gentle with yourself because when you're doing heavy duty healing, like I have done, then it's hard in so many ways. And I can tell you, I can go back in my mind. That's one thing that you can kind of, that's one thing you can kind of retain pretty good. You can remember back in all these different cycles, and each one was different. When I got rid of mass produced meat, it was a different 8-year ordeal, the last 8, than it was when I got rid of processed foods or when I got rid of wheat and dairy or when I moved to a new place and had to acclimate to, say, Asheville or whatever. All these changes, you go through all these dreams. You might go through a lot of sweating. You're just regurgitating old things in your mind. Some things you don't know that they're even yours because I'm such a channeler. I wonder sometimes, were these my thoughts? Because I don't know where the hell they came from. And you wake up like, it's weird. This whole healing process is weird. And I can say that to everyone because even though we're all different, we're all the same. And I know we're all going to go through a lot of the same things. I don't do massage on other people anymore. I did plenty of that. Thousands of people. I've massaged thousands of butts and backs and legs and bellies. Oh God. It's really, that's another thing right there, okay? So for probably a couple of years, I had to go through all of these mental adjustments to getting used to massaging naked bodies, I was 37 when I went back to massage school. I was the oldest person in my class. And from age 38 until 48, I guess, yeah, something like that, I was doing a lot of massage almost every day for myself, working for myself at home. And people would come by and I would massage them. I would dig out their pain. Some people would have emotional breakdowns on the massage table, you know, and I would consult them. And some people were toxic and smell bad. Some people were drop dead gorgeous. And you have to get used to this, you know? You have to try to stay professional, but you have to be kind. You have to dig knots out of people's bodies. You have to learn how to massage your own bod after working on people for hours. You got to stretch and massage. You got to really take care of yourself, especially if you're a thin person like me and you can't just keep building more tension in your body all the time. So I learned how to do ashiatsu barefoot massage so that I could use my feet and stand on the table. That was a lifesaver. Not only that, when I would do massage, and I still can do really amazing massage, I'm sure, because it's just like after you do massage for 10 years on a lot of people, and now I still do massage on myself all the time. I'm a lot better massage therapist than I ever was back then, for a lot of different reasons. Now I use knuckles and I use nails. I can use more tools, and I know the body well better than I ever did back then. I know fascia a lot better. I know how the muscles connect in lines a lot better than I ever did. I'm way better than I ever was back then. And it's just a matter of time. The longer you do something, you know, I haven't been working on other people, but bods are bods. And the more healing you do over a longer period of time, like I'm seeing how much I'm opening up. See, imagine this is a body, and it curls up. When you sleep, you curl. If you sleep on your side, you'll sleep, you know, curl up, like a baby is in the womb. And the more tight people get, the more they get like that. You see some people that are like this, all hunched back like this. Those people have so much bodily tension and so much obscure their spine and their whole skeletal region, their whole, you know, necks, everything has become so obscurely curled up, you know. And all of that is dis-ease, you know. It all changes your mind. The more straight up you are, the more positive you are. That's why they say keep your head up. Well, you should do that literally. Keep your head up. And if your head is not up because you've been doing something with your head down for long periods of time, you could get one of my rollers. I use them every day. Oh my God, they are so good. This is the oldest one that guy for Chirp Wheel probably saw like 13, 14 years ago. He saw this before he invented the Chirp Wheel. And he said, hey, we could make those out of big PVC pipe. We could make those out of plastic PVC pipe and sell the crap out of them, and I could make millions of dollars. And so they did. But guess what? I invented it. So I figure that after I die, I'll get to the pearly gates and they'll go, millions of people used that chirp wheel invention, and you get credit for that, man. You get to go to a higher level of heaven or something. So, but really, the deal is, and remember this, because some people don't get this. Some people get it to a degree. But you should like really, really get this, and maybe you do if you've been watching me. And that is that there are so many things, almost everything that I do for my health to improve it and regenerate it and everything. It's really, really cheap. A lot of the things don't cost anything but time. And so that's why it can be really frustrating for me to live in a world where people don't realize this. They're buying new cars and they're buying new houses, and they're thinking that what they need is this paper on the wall, or they think that doctors can help them to have good health. And I'll be laying there inverted on the hill right there, about 15 feet that way, right? I'll be laying there looking up at the clouds and the blue sky and the sun, and I'll be listening to my birds, and I'll be watching the birds, the finches, fly in and out of the feeder house. And I'll be thinking to myself while I'm relaxing my body and my mind and my stomach and my digestive system, and I'll be using my fingers to massage my digestive system. And then I'll come in the apartment and take a nice dump, and I'll be like, oh, thank God. And then I'll think to myself, most people don't do these things. I mean, they take a dump. Yeah, they do, but do they squat? No, they don't do it. And I sold one today to a chiropractor or a physical therapist. Yeah, I shipped one to, I think, a physical therapist in where I can't remember where it was. And yeah, he's going to be squatting. A lot of Indian people buy them. Now I'm going to get selling those a lot more, I think, soon. And that is because the guy that makes the millet hulls for me, which is what I sell most all the time, millet hull pillows. Many of you have them, including Cheryl Ann. They're an amazing product, but the guy that made those for me, and I say made because last fall he died just about this time. And I get this email from this company that I've been working with that does his billing for him, saying that he died. Hey, Joe, where are you going with that red happy hand? So anyways, Joe, I was just telling everybody that the guy that's been hulling millet hulls for me for the last 14, 15 years, something like that, maybe 14, he died last fall. And so there was only so much millet hulls that that I could get, and I got as much as I could get. I got 4 pallets of millet hulls, and this apartment was stacked full of like 2,000 pounds, more than that, 2,500 pounds. Yeah, more like 2,800 pounds of millet hulls stacked to the ceiling in here in 2 rooms. And so now I've almost used it all up, right? And this guy that died, he passed the equipment on, but not the property. The property went to his brother. And so this guy that got the equipment, though, that's been doing all the work for me, the other guy that died was the owner, and the guy that was working for him got all the equipment for free. And so him and his buddy are going in. Him and his buddy and his mom bought a farm, right? And they got the storage shed set up so they could move all the equipment into the storage shed. But now they're having the building. They have to have at least a couple more buildings, right? They've got to have buildings made. And they're probably just making something like an airport hangar looking kind of a thing, a big giant metal shed looking building. You know what I'm talking about. And so it's not something that's going to take a long time to make, but it might be until next year. And that means that unless I can find some more millet hulls, I'm going to have to sell other things, my friends. And I've got a lot of other things to sell. In fact, I've got more things that I can do now, but I just got to shift gears. Okay. I've got to shift gears. And so it's kind of exciting, but I'm not worried about it. Well, yeah, he's another one. Like, see, there are quite a few older entertainers, like Dolly Parton as well. You know, Rod Stewart, he had to sit down. I saw in a concert the other day. I think it was on the news. They're getting these baby boomer big time rock stars. Elton John is old. Billy Joel is old. And these guys, you know, they never ate really healthy and natural foods. They just were born with really amazing genes. You know, Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, and Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, 2 of the 4, I believe, are gone now. There's still Neil Young, and there's still Graham Nash. I would say probably Graham Nash will probably outlive Neil, but who knows? But the 2 of them are both very old. And I just saw, what's his name? I just mentioned it. I'll think of it in a minute. I just saw him sing. The inventor, Brett, shifting gears and blending in with these modern times. You know, the squatting platform is really easy because I don't have to do anything. I just send the info to the woodworker. He ships it. It's shipped unfinished, so the customer has to finish them. So that's easy. I make a quick $80, and all I have to do is process the transaction. But the thing that's really exciting, that I really need to get going on, if I can get some energy and time, is the shoes invention. And I still haven't decided what I'm going to do with that. I was watching this astrology the other day from one of my favorites, and he was Tom Lesher, New Paradigm Astrology on YouTube. He was talking about how the astrology was pushing people towards giving away information for free instead of, you know, trying to capitalize on everything. And I was thinking about that, and I've been thinking about it, and like, what do I want? Do I want really good feelings about the whole thing? Do I want to? I definitely don't want to be too greedy. There are so many different aspects of the whole thing to think about. I need to teach some classes just to see how much work it involves and see how much I really deserve to make. Because sometimes, it's not good to just give something away, like puppies. You give the puppies away to people that don't really want to spend much time or money on them. They just want a free puppy, and you know how that goes. Back in the 90s, I went to a ZZ Top concert in Mexico City, and they say now it was sick. And they say it was sick. See, that's another one of those things, another phrase that shows you just how really, literally sick people are. And sometimes I just want to talk with somebody, and so I get like asking some questions on AI, and then I make a statement, and then it comes back to me. And it was a rather interesting conversation, and I've been trying to stay more positive with people, so I'm not going to reiterate this conversation at all to you, my friends. But it was not very positive. But even though it was not very positive, you can always find positive in the world. And the truth is that creation is going to force everyone to get real. And so if you just realize that there are so many imbalances out there. So let's just look at one. So many people are going to need people that have houses, old people, old, sick people. They're going to need caregivers. And anyone that's willing and or needing a room for rent, not room for rent, a room for free. Anyone that can be a helper and or like caregiver, at least to a degree. 10 hours a week, whatever, a couple of hours a day, helping someone that is sick, being kept alive by drugs and doctors. See, that's how it is. If you're just being kept alive by meds, it's not going to be a very fun scenario. And there already are. There are so many people that are wondering how they're going to make it. And so this is creating a new demand. The positive of this is that there are a lot of people that just can't hardly afford to live in these apartments. They're so expensive. And the food has gotten to be so expensive. And that's just one tiny thing. There's just so much grass that needs to be turned into gardens. And when's that going to happen? Well, you think about it and you can figure it out. When there's not food, or when there's somebody that just gets enough gumption that says, hey, I really want to start growing my own food. If somehow a person gets the time and the gumption at the same time, then maybe they'll go out and start working in the yard and doing something different other than mowing the grass, which is just, you wouldn't even believe. I guess you probably would. If you're an American, you know how much grass is out there. But Joe, with Utah, like the worst Joe lived in Moab, okay? How much grass is in Moab? Moab is this place, for those of you that don't know, where the mountain bikers go. I'm a poet and I don't know it. And it's just red. It's like Sedona, Arizona, you know, it's just red. It's redder than Sedona, maybe. And people go there to ride on these slick rocks, and it's beautiful, but man, I need green. It's my ancestry, you know, my Northern European ancestry. And I think to myself, my God, the Mormons, they were desperate to find a place where they could live and have their polygamy and beliefs, etc. We're the best church, but really it's just another church that says the same thing as all the other ones do. When I was a kid, my mom said to me that Joseph Smith dug up these golden plates, right? And then he came to the people and he told them that he was told to tell them that something like this, that this is the true church, right? This is the true church, the Mormon church. And now I come to find that that's what they all think. Well, maybe not all of them. A lot of them think that, you know, a lot of the bigger churches. You see, the smaller churches, the non-denominational ones, the down-to-earth ones, the people that are like towards the center and reasonable, you know what I'm talking about, right? People that aren't steadfast hardcores. We're talking about people that have brains of their own. I shouldn't describe it like that. Let's just say that you can lay everything out on the table and see the truth. When you do that, and you keep greed out of it, all the greed, the Mormons are the worst ones for that. And I guess, you know, really, so many of them are the worst in being fooled, because I guess, I don't know, they're kind of all fooled. But here's the thing, all that money, and for those of you that don't know, the Mormons are the richest church in the world, especially if you consider the membership numbers. And they are that way because they force them to pay 10% tithing every month. They have to pay 10% of their gross every month. And so they have just continued to build more and more and more wealth ever since the church started. And now I saw this 60 Minutes several years back about how rich they are. And some of the things that are very kind of fishy, unethical, some of those things, you know. And they say that they're saving all of that money for a rainy day, you know, in case the world just goes to hell. But if you go to Utah and you look around and you see the health of people, it's the same as everybody else or worse. And I think that it might be worse because they have these other restrictions. They don't allow caffeine use at all, you know. When you take all of that away, you're not supposed to eat, you know, chocolate, drink coffee, anything with a lot of caffeine in it. It's really kind of a no-no. They're not too hardcore on chocolate, but it's comedic. There's so many examples like Pepsi is really owned a lot of it. I don't know the specifics, but Pepsi, there was always in Ogden, Utah, where I lived growing up, the Pepsi plant downtown, owned by Mormons. And so they're pushing that toxo muck on everyone, or everyone's buying it. It's a partnership between the two. So yeah, it's a really, really weird world. And the more that you realize how out of balance it is, but at the same time, it has evolved. People are a lot more civil, sort of. Most people. And sometimes I think that, I mean, compared to 100 years ago or 200 years ago, I mean, if you think about it, the things, if you look back into human history, and I don't really want to, because I find it nauseating, but if you were to look back into human history and see all the things that people did, you'd probably think that people were really horrible. You know, you see the clothes that they wore, and you realize how far humans have come in so many different ways. Like, think about sexuality. When I was born in 65, you know that people were so far less evolved sexually. And a lot of people still are the exact, I mean, like here in these mountains, people totally are still. But the internet is changing everything if they dare watch it. And it's not just here, it's everywhere. And Russia can take away the internet from people in Russia. But if they think that they can just hide the world, same with North Korea, everywhere. You can't just hide the rest of the world from anyone. You can only get away with it for so long. Even like these ancient tribes in South America and the Brazilian rainforest that haven't hardly seen people forever, ever. They're still going to get exposed some way, somehow, to things. The Mormon tribe is 10% each month. Wow. No. Whether it was yearly or monthly, whatever their gross income is, if they make $100,000 a year gross before taxes, gross, they got to pay $10,000. That's what they owe, $10,000. And they have like ways of like fact checking them. I believe they even audit them. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Anyways, I'm not even going to get into that, but yeah, what I was saying about Moab is, if you don't know about Moab, there's no green there. There might be a few little tulies. I stayed at the Lazy Lizard hostel there. I highly recommend that. If you ever go to the hostel or go to Moab and you're looking for an inexpensive place to stay, when I stayed there, it was a private room for $26. Of course, that was a long time ago. Well, it wasn't that long, 12 years ago, something like that. And yeah, once again, the Lazy Lizard. I don't know. I think it's probably still there. Who knows? But that's what they have there. A lot of lazy lizards and redness and mountain bike trail things. They got a lot of mountain bike stores. They've got a cool co-op. They've got a cool food co-op in Moab. And yeah, it's nice to visit, but don't go there in the summer. It's best in, when the desert is not so hot there. So yeah, I'm going to, guess what I'm doing next weekend? I'm going to a cool festival in the mountains. And I'm going to wear festive clothes. And I'm going to take fortune papers. And I'm just going to take some fun and cool and new agey things and try and be as hippie-ish as I can. And just kind of, my new thing, what I'm going to try to be more like is everyone else. If I can be the chameleon and look and like, because when people think that you're like them, then they like you. And I can be like other people because I've always been able to do that, especially verbally. I can do a lot of different accents. I can talk like people around here if I want to. I can totally talk like people. I saw this woman the other day sitting in her car, and she had her phone and she was going. And I tapped on her window and she rolled it down. This was at the post office, right? And I said, "Ma'am, why don't you just use the voice activation thing? It's a lot easier." You know what she said to me? She said, "I can't do it because it can't understand me with my accent." And I said, "Well, just talk with no accent then. I can talk with an accent. If I can talk with an accent, you can talk without an accent." I go, I can talk with an Indian accent." I can do, what's a Mexican? I have to, it's hard to just spontaneously go into another accent, Hey, hey. You can do a Mexican accent. Joe is my Mexican friend. Joe Serrano is my Mexican friend. Ay. Say, how about an English accent? I saw a lady today. I met a really nice lady at the coffee shop today that was from Holland. And I said, "Are you German?" She goes, close. "Austria? Switzerland?" No. I really enjoyed myself today. It's so easy to give out the fortune papers. And by the way, okay, so for those of you that are kind of lacking, I highly recommend it. Like if you're lacking in a social life, like I've been for such a long time, and you may not be ready for this, and it's totally cool, but you can put this in the back of your mind. If you take my fortune papers, or you can make up your own fortune papers, just, pull up a Word doc, start writing out little papers, make them spaced evenly in between dotted lines. You do 5 lines or whatever you want to do, and then you do the next one. You do 5 lines so that they cut all exactly the same size. Or if you want, you can go on my website, Brett's Natural Health, and you can look on free downloads, and then you can just download it. And once again, it's free. And so anyways, all you have to do is go up, and here's the thing. It's really easy after you get used to just walking up to people. You just walk up to people like this. Here they are. So here's all the fortune papers. There's about 10 more than this now because I added more. I wrote some more the other day. So you just walk up to people like this, and you say, would you like a wisdom paper? I used to call them fortune papers, but you can call them whatever you want to. And you just spread them out like that, and they look and they're like, okay, 65, 70% of people take one. The other people will just say, no, I don't want one. Some people are snobby about it. It's okay. Just let those people all go because 70% of the people will take one. And it's fun. And sometimes people are thinking, so there'll be people that are thinking, I wonder what he's trying to get. Like, because in the world that we live in, it's like, especially with it being so hard to make ends meet, finances, people are like wondering, like, was he trying to scam me or something? They're not really, because like where I went today, I mean, some people are probably wondering what I'm up to or something. And yes, I'm trying to meet some women. But really, the other thing is that I mentioned this before, and I get bored. I get bored, and I'm tired of watching videos on YouTube. I gave up television a long time ago. Television just sucks. I don't watch movies. I don't go to bars or restaurants. I could probably do a Cheech Marin, I know it's a doing Mexican accents like some kind of a weed thing, right? Like, hey man, pass me that doobie, pass me that doobie, Cheech Chong. Yeah, so it's really fun giving these out, and you don't have to like do it for anything other than you're just enjoying it, the conversation with people and meeting people. And I didn't, sometimes I would be like, oh, I want to meet her, and I walked up to her, this one beautiful woman at the farmer's market this morning. And she wasn't sure about giving me her number. Another one, I got her number. Her name is Marissa. Yeah. But this other woman, this little bit older than Marissa woman, probably about 56, something like that, 58. Really beautiful skin, And I was like, this girl, she knows how to eat healthy food. And I said, well, how about I had a bunch of blank ones, right? And I'm like, how about if I give you my name and number and you could think about it for a while? Because she was kind of thinking about it, and she was looking at me like, because women will want to look into your eyes, the window of the soul. Like, you can look into my eyes right now to see the window to my soul. And they want to know what's in there, And your face tells your story, at least to a degree. Your mouth tells it further, but just what your face looks like can say who you are and what you're thinking, where you've been, etc. And so she's giving me that, like she wants to know. And maybe she'll call me, or maybe not. But here's the cool thing. There's a lot of places that I can just go and do this or some other similar thing and just keep meeting more and more and more people. And it's really exciting that I'm finally to this point. Because somebody might say to me like, well, Brett, you've had these fortune papers for 15 years. You wrote them like 15 years ago. And yeah, back then I was giving them out. I was walking around. I took hundreds of them. I took thousands of them. And I walked around Asheville and gave them to so many people, thousands of them. And I got kind of tired of doing it. and then, but somebody might say, well, Brett, you've been talking about meeting the right girl for you for a long time. Why didn't you just go out and do this before? And the answer is simple but unexplainable. It is that I wasn't ready. So, now that I have learned that I wasn't ready for something and I just had to go through the hoops, I just had to jump through the hoops and do the time and the healing, the cleansing, whatever, then you can compare that to everyone on everything, for everything, including all of you. When whoever is ready for whatever, then they'll be ready. And until that time happens, you'll just have to wait. We'll all just have to wait. And so there you go. Does that mean that I'm sometimes not still going to be very flustered and frustrated with people? No, because guess what? I'm still going through my cycles of cleansing and healing. Around and around it goes. And where it stops, nobody knows. What is that? The Price is Right. Come on down, Brett. You could probably do a Cheech and Chong. What did that end, Joe? Did the Price is Right end? I know what's his name did it for after Bob Barker passed. Bob Barker was a great person. He cared about animals. You know, Bob Barker, for me, what was amazing about him was that he cared about people so much, even though he really cared about animals. Because, see, it's the people that have effed up the animals so much. And so, how can you still care about both? Well, you have to have a God understanding mentality. That's how. And perhaps Bob Barker really did. You see, I'll tell you. Okay, here, let's just get down to it. Bob Barker had a job. He worked on probably the most popular television game show in the history of humankind. And there he was every day for decades dealing with people. Every day. He had to go to work. It was his job. He had a contract, right? Before he started The Price is Right, he had other things in show business. But over time, he just came to really love people. They'd hug him, they'd thank him. Oh, thank you for the washer and dryer. Thank you for the new car. They're going berserk, right? He learned to not allow them to injure him. Because they would sometimes like be so excited or something, you know, that they would damn near injure him. They would squish him or something. But he learned to love people because he was exposed to them every day. And so, even though he knew that it was the pollution and the things that encroachment things that people are doing, the general population and individuals or whatever groups are doing to animals that he loved so much, he still loved people anyway. Today, when I went out and gave out fortune papers, I realized that most of these people, they don't take care of themselves anything like I do. But I still really liked people today because they liked me, because I gave them fortune papers. So if I just keep doing that, I keep saying fortune papers, but I tell them it's wisdom papers because I don't want to seem too woo-woo, you know? We talked about all kinds of things today, me and various people. Can you read a random fortune paper? I will read one for you, Kim Go. Kim Go. And I won't even lick it. I'll put a tiny bit of coffee on my fingers instead of licking it. I'm kind of learning to not do that because I don't want to get germs. I'm washing my hands a lot more too. Something prompted me recently to do that more, and so I am. That's for you, Kim Go. I know some of them are kind of dumb like that, but not really. I'm grateful for this day and I'm grateful for this fortune paper. Yeah. Does anyone else want one? Do you want one, Joe? Hey, Joe. Do you want one of these fortune papers? Hey, Joe. Do you want one of these fortune papers? You're welcome. You're welcome. Lots of people thanked me for fortune papers today. I probably gave out, I don't know, at least 100, 150. First, with this show, Truth or Consequences, he served in the Navy and a native from the, part of a Native American. He said he was part Native American. You'd never think that Bob Barker was a Native American, huh? Did you want a fortune paper, Joe? Does anybody else want one? Oh, yeah, I thought it was still going with Drew Carey. Drew Carey was perfect for taking over that. Okay, good. It's hard to not take more than one. That's one of the not as good ones, Joe. I was just thinking about that song. I think nobody knows the trouble I've seen. You know that one? It's like you see some old black dude sitting on a southern porch singing that with his guitar or something. Nobody knows the troubles. Does anybody else want one? So, anyways, I'm going to this really cool festival at this really cool venue next weekend. I think I should be feeling pretty good because I just had my brutal migraine on, what day was it? Like 3 or 4 days ago. It was a hard one. I'm still kind of getting through it too. But, you know, these migraines, they're really healing crises. The doctors can call them whatever they want to, and people can dislike them as much as they want to, and there's no doubt that they're not fun at all. They're really hard. I have to completely clear my whole digestive system, from both ends. I know that doesn't sound very fun, and it's not, but before I start feeling good again, or even half, like survivable. It's so hard. Migraine, headaches, when you've got nausea and diarrhea. Oh God, it's so freaking hard. People will be checking out of this video. Watch, see, the two just left. Anyways, so yeah, I'm going to a fun dance festival next weekend, and I'm just going for Saturday. It's like an hour's drive from here. And I'm gonna have to deal with food. It's on the same, going over there the same morning that I'm usually going to the UNCA Farmers Market to get really great local food. Just really, really good stuff. And so I'm gonna have to forego that for 1 weekend, for 1 week, and find another source. Maybe I'll go back to the West Asheville Farmers Market on Tuesday and get some food. So I'm going to the festival on Saturday instead, and it's going to be really fun. And I'll let you know how it goes. I'm just going to dance, maybe if I feel good enough, do some yoga, some sound healing. Sound healing is cool. I'm going to take some essential oils and various things, like probably some musical instruments. I'm just going to pack a bag full of stuff, fun, cool stuff. And I'm getting younger. And I'm feeling like, I can hang out with younger crowds. As long as I'm not too close to the migraine time, I'm feeling pretty good. That thing came on. It was coming on more intensely over at least a week, if not 10 days. And certain parts of my bod, like my left calf, just started getting tight and sore. And then last weekend I went to the to another kind of a dance, a strenuous-ish dance, and I just got a cramp in that calf. And I tried to work it out, and I tried to keep dancing, and I think that just made it worse. And then throughout the week, the closer it got to that migraine, the tighter it got. Oh my God. I'm just glad that that is over with and that I'm not having to do them very often anymore. Thank God. But I should also be grateful for all of the healing. And then the thing is that afterwards, I'm just like, damn near anything will put me in tears. I'm watching various videos and I like feel so bad for some people. I'll be like so sad for something going on. And I'll just start crying, That's how it's been for a couple of days for me now. But I know the deal. After you go through such an extreme, hardcore cleansing like that, my body was so freaking inflamed. My whole body, not just my head, my whole body I could feel was just inflamed. And, that's what's required. You want to know why these wrinkles are going away? You may not have noticed if you watch me often, regularly, but if you don't watch me very often and you're like, hey, Brett's looking better. I look like hell after I got rid of mass-produced meat for years. And I went through hell. Believe me, it's not easy. And so, yeah, that's the deal. Your body is constantly contracting, shrinking, and expanding, contraction, and it's rebuilding, it's breaking down, it's going through, and your mind is going through all of these things. You're thinking what's right and what's wrong. Is this acceptable? Do I care what people think? No, F this. Worried about that. Is this going to happen to me? All these things. You're thinking about all of these things, and you're feeling all of these things, and you're sweating, and all of this toxic, chemicalized viruses and parasites are coming out of your body. And you just keep eating more vegetables and a lot of fruit. And sometimes it's really scary and sometimes it's really exciting. But I'm telling you, it's the real deal, my friends. And a lot of you might not, I guess, not have as intense of healing crisis as this, but I wouldn't count on it. Because I see how hard it is for people to change. If it were easy, everyone would do it. It's not easy. And thinking about that, I so often times come back to Beatles songs. And for several days now, I've been thinking about how grateful I am. This morning, I was thinking about how grateful we are, to have Ringo and Paul still with us. And for days now, and today I watched the video, I've been singing the song, "It don't come easy. You know it don't come easy." Such a great song. That's a Ringo song. That's a Ringo Starr song. And sometimes I'm in a Paul mood, a more fun mood, happy mood. Sometimes I'm in more of a spiritual mood, like a George mood. Sometimes I'm in more of an F the world mood. So that's what it is. If you think about each individual's character, then you start to realize why, one of the reasons why anyway, that they were so great. Especially when you examine the music that they made after they left, after they split up. You see all of the Paul McCartney and Wings songs that were mostly love songs. Even one of the songs was silly love songs. Love songs and fun songs like Junior's Farm. I love that song. So when you're in a really happy mood, you can listen to Paul McCartney and Wings. Jet. and when you want to just get the whole deal all together, you can just go back and listen to Beatles songs. Now, when you want to listen to spiritual songs, you can just listen to George. If you're feeling like being in the Piscean mode, I'm pretty sure that that's what George was, a Pisces. You want to be in that escape the world mode. Listen to George Harrison. And then you can be with your Lord. I really want to see you. Like you want to go on to the next world. Perhaps George smoked himself to death on purpose, for a reason, because he really wanted to leave this world. And so oftentimes, if you watch George Harrison on videos, in interviews, you can see that he really wasn't happy. He really wasn't happy with living in this world. I think a lot of people are like that. But for several days now, I've just had Ringo music, just that It Don't Come Easy song in my head. Ringo didn't have a lot of hits, but that song is amazing. It's so damn good. And so, yeah, I go back to the Beatles quite often times to bring myself back to some sort of a not new, but a state of sanity, even though some of the songs are rather weird and insane. I can't really explain it. It's probably the mixture of the four of them. There's really no other band. There are people that will compare Led Zeppelin or the Stones or Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young or Elton or something to them, but really, you know, there's nobody that compares to the Beatles. And the greatest of all of them is Paul, overall. That's probably why he's still alive and touring, but they all had their, their aspects. But I'd like to conclude this video just by saying that even though it's such a changing time and things are still really hard because they're so fluctuating, I can see astrologically, at least, and in other ways too, why they are fluctuating. And I'm understanding, and I've understood for a long time, that changes, big changes, needed to be made. And when people are getting real and they're starting to come to the center and they're starting to admit things, they're starting to admit deeper truths about all kinds of things that needed to be talked about. It's encouraging for me. It's encouraging for me versus just hearing the same cheap barbs thrown from one side to the other. The same stupid, cheap jokes and barbs instead of actually digging deeper, which is what I'm trying to do with myself. That's what I'm trying to do with myself. To ask, well, why did I have this attitude? What were the reasons? Is there any way that I can find a shade of gray between what I thought before and what I think might be perfection? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm finding mostly positivity, and I'm finding like little shades of gray in between where I can work my way into better and better attitude, which is what I really, really need. I really need to continue to evolve in a way that I can get what I want and still stay alive. I don't know how to describe it better than that. Because if I just do nothing, it won't work. And if I do too much, it won't work. So I have to find these shades of gray that are compromises that people can accept and or take and run with them, or at least walk. If like, for instance, if I just go up to people and I say something ridiculous like, I don't know, there's a lot of things, versus giving them something that they can really use, you know. And before, when I didn't have the energy generally to really go the extra mile, because it takes extra effort to give them something, because like, yeah, you gotta do all kinds of things to meet them halfway. You know, it takes more time, it takes more effort, it probably takes maybe sometimes more money, all kinds of things. So the stronger I get, obviously, the more I'll be able to meet people part way and get them at least interested. So that's the plan, and that's always been the plan, really. But I probably just didn't say it like that. So now you see the title of this video is something to do with me getting softer. It's more than just softer. It's more like more logical, more healthy, more compromising. It's all the things. And that coincides with exactly the deal with holistic healing. The whole is mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. So you would think that after 36 years of working on these things, that I would eventually start getting better at all of that, right? Well, looks like I am. So, oh man, I'm not going to talk about that. So, thanks everyone for joining me. I hope that you have a nice Sunday tomorrow. Perhaps it's a spiritual day for you. Oh, look, Joe gave me $99. Ooh, thank you, Joe. And before I go, guess what, Joe? I just got paid finally. All those 5 or 10, whatever you're sending to me. And let's see. Dallas sent me $50 a couple of weeks ago. Thank you, Dallas. And Lori, what's her name? Tanya? Oh, I'm mixing people up. Sent me like $10. People have been sending me donations, plus my YouTube income. Yesterday, I got paid $142 from YouTube. And yeah, Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate it. Pays for groceries. So anyways, thanks everyone for joining me. And thank you, Joe, for that nice little gift. Yummy, man. Spending your $5 on your next shopping trip to the co-op, or maybe buy some yummy mammy sapotes from Tom at Sleepy Lizard Farm in Florida. Mammy sapotes. Hang on. Let's check that out, Joe. I have no idea what a mammy sapote is. Delicious tropical mammy sapotes. Available for you pick up on weekends while in season at Abulo's Farm in Homestead, Florida. Have you ever tried mammy? It sounds like that old song, Mammy. How would you describe it? This fruit tastes like if a pumpkin pie and cheesecake had a tropical baby. It grows on trees. Well, maybe someday I'll have one of those, Joe. Look at this dude. He's talking about mammy sapotes with this girl. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, man. And once again, everybody, have a great Sunday.